What's going on? All right. So I know not much at all about selling into gigantically large companies. So if my customers had customers that were in the Fortune 1000, I would not take on that deal because that means that you're targeting a shallow number of companies, but very deeply. These are 6-month, year, 2-year long cycles. This is not my target audience. But a lot of the principles of how I built AI workflows for companies that go after the mid-market are very similar, but they need to be disassembled and rearranged. So this, and I have to talk about this on Wednesday. So I thought I would do some pre-thinking. It's a webinar with Sam Gong, a lot of experience in this space. So I thought I would take David Boskowitz, Cannonball GTM, which is the show I co-host with Doug Bell, take their sort of framework that they have built and match that with some of the stuff that I do, and then just outline what it would look like if you were to try to build this, what the system architecture would look like and why. And so, yeah, let's walk through that. All right. So this is David's sort of presentation, and I'll kind of walk you through. And this isn't necessarily for, this is actually not for enterprise companies, but it's really kind of cool to see this framework. So he's got a BigQuery database, which has like all of the what's happening in the flat file product, CRM, and then email support. So these are all of the customer actions, and that goes into what's he called flat file to CIA. This is company context, really important. He takes a vertical here and will then go take in ExaWeb sets to identify companies to basically define the vertical. He'll do an analysis and he'll pull in leads. And then all of these three things will get blended. That'll go to a targeting database, create content, and then write outbound. This is like a pretty simple to understand, but pretty powerful framework. So I'm going to sort of keep that here. And first, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tease out the most important things. Let's go ahead and change this to Blueprint purple. All right, channels. Yeah, let's make it like this. And let's make this white, actually. It's just kind of nicer. Yeah. So channels, people, companies, context. Internal context. This is important. This is like CRM, etc. Maybe yeah, there's like a sub piece here, which is buyer committee, COMMITTIE. No. COMMITT. That's too many M's, too many I's, too many T's, too many E's. All right. I think that maybe we have enough to build this. Okay. And let's do from left to right sort of what this looks like. So there's probably internal context. And let's actually name internal context. So this is like CRM, buyer committee, probably also support. This is also probably calls. And the calls and the buyer committee stuff has to be linked. So this is basically your internal enterprise context. And actually, there's probably one more thing, which is like, it's like value prop. This could be like sales context. And sales context could include like value prop, what you sell to the buyer committee. This is probably also product. This is like maybe also product positioning. And this also, I think, is going to move into something. Let's see if I can. There is a. Actually, I know how to do this. Let me just make this thing gigantic. Let's do more. I have to do more show fonts. How about 1,000? Oh, no, 500. Yeah. It was like fun. American typewriter. Ooh, I like American typewriter the best. What is that? Ooh, mustache. All right. No, American typewriter. Yeah, this is probably best. Okay, so basically all of this context needs to go into probably a context window, rag, CAG, probably, it's probably context, context window. I think this is probably Gemini, and I guess that if, yeah, this is kind of my thought. I'm not going to elaborate on this right now. I'm going to get the map done first. Okay, vertical analysis. I think this then has to go to a target companies, all people. How do I want to do this? I think you. I'm not going to do it like David. Okay. I think this is how you want to do this. Basic. I think you want to do this. One company. Okay. This is what you want to do. You want to do. This is what this is going to include, one company context. And within the sort of one company context is probably going to be SEC data, data, rich data, SEC, website, blog, etc. And this context window probably, let's see, web data. This web data is going to depend on what you care about. And this is also, what you probably also want to do is, and this probably should be labeled this, company context. All internal calls. Do I want people here? I don't think so. It's some version of this. So basically, now you have a context window that's going to feed into this thing. And the context window, I think all this stuff is either going to be a context window or a RAG database. I'm not exactly sure. The company context plus the context window will sort of work together. Then sort of all internal calls. It has the buyer committee here. I think that this is where you want to load in all people at that company. And then you probably also are going to, you're probably also going to do deep research on the people. So 1 deep research per person. This is cheap enough to do it like this. Okay. I think the output is, let's make this smaller. Which people? Sales to target mapping. I'll explain this in a second. Channel account. COMM. There. All right. I think this is right. Let's keep David's stuff up here as kind of a reference here. All right, so let me kind of walk through what I think this model might look like. Is that first, you kind of have all the context that you have to gather. You have to put this in one place. This sort of enriched CRM. Really understanding about the buyer committee, like what does that look like? Who buys? Who influences? What does the timeline look like? And this is like probably buyer process, which includes the buyer committee, who influences what, basically all the things that your kind of sellers know and your sales team has put together as information. This is like support calls, etc. This is like probably sales calls. This is like, and the sales context probably is in the CRM, but it's like, what's the sales context on that, on accounts essentially, like where, what does the sales team know? That's probably in the CRM. And then sort of information about product positioning. This is all going to feed into some context window, or in David's case, is the flat file CIA. Then what you're going to want is company context, and this is probably run per company. So you have the context, which is probably just text here. It is going to go feed a bunch of different, you could consider these columns to go enrich this company at some sort of a schedule. And that's what all this sort of web data will be. You might go buy data. For example, I want to know what their paid ads are doing, or I want to have an understanding. I don't know exactly what this looks like. It's going to depend on your context, but it's some sort of external and or paid database context. And then really it's like all internal company interactions. So I think actually it's better this is going to be aggregated, but you probably need to pull that out here so that when this is like deep research monthly. So if you're going to change your, cadences monthly, whatever, this is where what you're going to do is refresh all this data, refresh the company interactions, refresh the public data, and take that into the context window. So these things actually are kind of, let's see if I can rotate this. I can. This is like run as a unit. Run together. And actually, this is probably all people interactions. So have you had interactions with this person before? And I think actually this does not need to be run. These two things need to be run together. And I actually should kind of separate this because these two things should be run together. And then these two things should be run together, but they should not be run. Yeah, this is what it should look like. There you go. So context window, and this is like run together monthly maybe. This might be probably more frequent because people change more often. So the people context is going to take in the company context. And then the output here is that there's going to be you're going to have to associate your reps with companies and people. And this is sort of what that sales team and target mapping looks like. So the output of this is going to be what to have which reps do, where, and when. So you actually, what this might look like is that you might say, all right, well, this salesperson owns this account. There are 5 people in the buyer committee. 4 of them are going to be at this conference next week. Have John go to this conference to meet them. Or it might be that one of them post actively on LinkedIn, so go comment on LinkedIn. Or it might be that Joni loves to, she loves X, Y, or Z things that she's posted about recently. And so you might then go buy them something, right? So what does influence look like? And then this might be at the sort of what to do per account. Yeah, and these are probably inverted. And this is like what to do per person for each rep prospect. Okay. I think it's like this. I should probably talk to Nate Nostral or Jen about this. But this is my poor man's take on this process. So basically at the end, what you really want to do is to know what to do per person. And that's like one-to-one interactions, right? You might go send the rep off to a conference. You might have them comment on LinkedIn, right? What is the surface area of influence? And per account, this is what you might do on sort of a marketing level. So if you kind of understand what is going on at the account level, this might be a good way to say, all right, for marketing, do X, Y, or Z. And what you might even do is you might roll up this into like, this is like maybe like a monthly company. And this monthly company strategy, it may even look like these are what marketing channels you should be in and why. These are what sales channels you should be in and why. Here is sort of what each rep should be doing and why. Here is the channels that you should focus on and why. So yeah, this is my first take at creating this. There's a great quote that says, our knowledge is an island. Well, I got to get this exact quote. I quoted this last time. We live on an island surrounded by a sea of ignorance. As our island of knowledge grows, so does the shores of our ignorance. So I'm speaking outside of my lane here. I just can tell you the pieces that I have built for folks that are going inside of mid-market. There are some contextual pieces I probably am missing here about how to run this enterprise motion. But I think that generally this sort of aligns about how I might think about it's like I think that the components that I believe are true is like you need internal intelligence synced to a central place. Because you have deep company context, you should do this not at a market level, you should do it at a company level. So you need to go get deep research on that company. You might pull in all of this is going to be weirdly a massive amount of data. You have to take that massive amount of data and then basically pull in all of the people and all the people interactions, right? So now you have what is going on at the company this month. What do all of the people look like this month? And then you can say, great. And that's like, what channels are they active in? Have I missed anyone in the committee? Are there new hires, et cetera? Once you have that, you can say, what should sales reps be doing and what should marketing be doing, right? Sales and marketing. And then what should the company be doing? So I think this is probably the system I would build if I was doing this for enterprise, but would love your thoughts here. This is just some sort of late night musings so that I'm prepared for my conversation with Sam. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you. Bye.